everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be hosting a fall-inspired dinner party. I'll be making a pumpkin cheese ball appetizer, short rib stew over Parmesan polenta, and mini pumpkin pies for dessert. Full recipes will be in the description box below. I hope you enjoy dinner party prepping with me. One of the things I love about the recipes I'm making is a lot of the prep work can be done the day before, so you can spend less time cooking and being stuck in the kitchen and more time enjoying your guests. So I'm going through all of my recipes and getting all the vegetables and pre-chopping everything, and I'm also going to shred the Parmesan cheese as well and then put them in separate containers in the fridge, so when I am ready to start cooking, all of that prep work is already done. I will also be making the cheese ball appetizer ahead of time and allowing it to chill in the refrigerator overnight. You can be really creative and flexible with this recipe. The one I put in the description is just the general guidelines that I use, but you can add what you like and what you already have on hand. You could also take things out, so if you don't like horseradish, you do not have to include that. You can also add bacon. I think that would be really good as well. We're also going to be coating the cheese ball with crushed goldfish crackers when I take it out of the fridge tomorrow, but I just went ahead and pre-crushed everything the day before because, again, it's just one less thing I have to do the day of, and I crushed them in a Ziploc bag using a wooden spoon. Now you're just gonna wrap your cheese ball in saran wrap and try to shape it in the best round pumpkinish shape that you can. It's okay if it's not perfect because you can reshape it when you take it out of the fridge tomorrow. Alright, so now we're going to get started on the main course, and I love this short rib recipe because A, it's delicious, and B, aside from the polenta, everything is cooked in one pot, which means less dishes and it's just a lot easier. So you'll want to give yourself at least 3 hours of cooking time before you plan to serve this, just to make sure the ribs are fall off the bone tender. So we're going to be browning the short ribs in a stock pot with some olive oil, and then just put some salt and pepper on the ribs. And when they all have a nice sear, you can set them aside on a plate. And then in the same pot, you're going to add the onions and the carrots and cook until the onions become translucent, so about 5 minutes. And then you're going to add the garlic and cook that until it's fragrant, so usually around 2 minutes. Then you're going to add the tomato paste, red wine, and beef stock. Now we're going to add the short ribs back to the pot and try to immerse them in the liquid as much as possible. And then bring the pot to a boil and reduce heat to low and simmer for 3 hours or until the ribs are fall off the bone tender. Now on to making the dessert, which is super simple and so on theme for fall. However, since I am doing this voiceover after the dinner party took place, I can warn you, do not try to replace the pre-made pie crust for biscuits like I did. You will see later on that it did not have a great result for me. I couldn't find the pre-made pie crust, so I thought this would be fine. They still tasted pretty good, but they would have been 10 times better and lighter with the recommended pie crust. And about halfway through cooking, we're going to check on the ribs, flip them over, and add the mushrooms and peas to the pot. And we're going to mix those in really well and then cover and let cook for the remaining time. Preheat the oven to 425 to cook the mini pumpkin pies. I found this recipe on Pinterest and I loved how they used the mini fall cookie cutters to add the leaves and pumpkins on top, but since I didn't have small enough cookie cutters, I decided to top mine with Cool Whip instead, and they were so yummy. Now we're going to be assembling the pumpkin cheese ball, and I have to admit this looked way better than I even imagined, and everyone was so impressed by it, even my husband, who normally doesn't even notice little details like that. So it's still going to be a little sticky even though it's harder from being in the fridge overnight. So just try to move it directly from the plastic wrap onto a plate. Then you're just going to sprinkle the crushed goldfish crackers to the tops and the sides, coating it the best you can. The more coating you get on the cheese ball, the less sticky and easier it gets to work with. I also use the side of my fork to add lines to give it a more realistic pumpkin look. Then just pop the stem on top, and if you didn't already guess, the stem is from a bell pepper that I cooked with the night before, but I thought it still looked pretty realistic. Then you're just gonna add it to a fancy tray with some crackers, and you have the perfect fall appetizer. So the mini pumpkin pies are done, and now you can see why I do not recommend replacing the pie crust with a biscuit. And I should have known this would happen, but oh well, live and learn. The two that look halfway decent were from a roll that I tore in half. The others tasted like a biscuit topped with pumpkin pie filling, which wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I still would recommend sticking to the recipe and using the pie crust. And the final step for the short rib recipe is adding some cornstarch mixed with lukewarm water to thicken up the sauce. Just add the cornstarch mixture to the pot, stir, turn off the heat, and it should start to thicken up so it's not as watery. And last but certainly not least, we're going to make a fun fall-inspired cocktail. For this drink, we're using apple cider, butter shots, and brown sugar and cinnamon for the rim. You can substitute the butter shots for caramel vodka, which is what I normally use when I make this recipe, but my liquor store was out for some reason. And if you are pregnant like I am or making these for kids, just forego the alcohol altogether and you still have a really tasty fall themed drink to have with your meal. About 20 minutes before you plan to serve your meal, you'll want to boil the water to cook the polenta. Polenta is best served fresh because as it cools, it gets thick and can get clumpy. But if this happens, you can just add a little bit of milk or water to it and reheat it, and it should turn back into a smooth consistency. Polenta is so good, and I feel like not a lot of people make it, and it's super easy to make and goes so well with this dish. This is how you do it. You take a cracker. Take a cracker. And you dip it in. Look, it looks like a pumpkin. Dip it in. Hang on, let me see. Wow. Cheers. Oops. Shoot, hold on. Miles, cheers. Do you like it? Yummy. Yummy. It's like pizza. It's like pizza. It's the same shape. Can't eat it.
Is it good, Miles?
You want to try it, Rye?
Oh. Wait a minute, say that. Ho ho ho.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know if you enjoy videos like this by giving it a thumbs up and leaving me a comment down below. I don't usually do videos like this on my channel, so I'm curious to get your feedback. I love cooking and party planning, so if you guys are interested, I would love to share more content like this on my channel, so let me know in the comments below. I will also be posting my fall home decor tour on my channel next week, and don't worry if you already saw my decorate for fall with me video. I've already made a bunch of changes, so you won't be disappointed. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you are subscribed with a notification bell on so you are notified every time I upload, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.
Stay true to that fire in your heart and